You're now recording, and you want to screen share the PowerPoint,
Yes.
and you want to put it in.
Yes. Okay. Good afternoon to everyone. This is all about ECERS, and I'm Latanya Thompson, your child development specialist that will be taking you through this hour training. ECERS and ECERS is almost alike, but it's different because of the ages, and some of the equipment and material are different. So we're in ECERS tonight. So we're going to get started. Here are some ECHO words that you need to be familiar with. Accessible, meaning children can reach and use material and furnishings at all times. That means if something is high on the shelf and little Johnny can't reach it, that means it's not accessible to him. So everything needs to be accessible to the children in your classroom where they can reach and use what they need at all times. Okay? Substantial portion of the day means at least 1/3 of the time the children are in attendance. So during this time of your substantial portion of the day, that means that children need to be exploring, they need to be playing, they need to be busy in the classroom, not just sitting and waiting on the next steps, for something else to take place. They need to be involved as much as possible during that observation period. Okay? But first, I want to go back to these books, ECERS books. Of course, there's a lot of things in here that might look different to you, but if you had some training, you know that this book tells all about the indicators in your book. You have space and furnishing, indoor space, all of this, and it also has notes of clarification that if you don't understand something, you can look at the clarification notes and get a better understanding of what you're looking at in your indicator. Okay? And the All About ECERS book, you need to read. You really need to read it because I cannot explain the whole book to you tonight. But in here, you need to read and find out familiar things about that indicator that will help you along the way. Okay? So make sure if you glance at it, make sure you read what you don't understand. Okay? And staff refers to adults who are directly involved with children. So you're going to hear this, you might hear this a lot when you get the observation. I'm not sure who has been through it, but you need to know that staff are those who are directly involved with the children. Weather permitting. This means that every day children are to go outside. Unless the weatherman comes on and tells you to keep children inside because it's lightning and thundering real sharp and bad, or it's in the summertime when the sun is so hot that you can't touch the equipment on the playground that it'll burn, those type of things. But when a public announcement comes on the TV, that's the only time that you are to remain indoors. Other times, even though it's cold, we need to be outside. I'm not saying go out in the stormy rain, but if you have a shelter that you can stand up on and let the children feel the rain, let them do that. And then go back inside. I say go out and play in the rain, but we have to use, what's best for our children. But on these good days and cold, kind of frigid days, everybody needs to be outside. All the kids need to be outside. Okay? This one right here, weather permitting, plays a big part in ECERS and ECERS. Eckers are inadequate is 1, minimum 2, good 5, and excellent is 7. But we also have a 3 and a 4 in between all these. So I always advise centers, if you can start at a 1 and work your way up, that will be the best for you. How some centers get disencouraged is they start they want to go for a 5 and then they drop down to a 2 and they think that's bad, so they don't even try anymore. But that's not the case. That means that you just need a little bit more work and you're going to work your way back up. So I advise centers to start at a 1 star and work your way up from a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. But you got to maintain each star. So they would explain more to you about the stars and how to get there when they do, when you have your orientation with the Alabama Quality Stars, whenever they're coming out to your part of the county that you're in. It might not it might not come from us. It might come from someone at your, district part, but I would just advise providers to start at a 1 and work your way up. So you won't be so disencouraged. Doors need to be 32 inches. The threshold should be 1/2 high, easily to roll over. Okay, and these points that I'm giving you and tips are things that I think that are important because it's so much more, but this will help you along the way. Okay, I need to see everyone's face in this training. Okay, let's move on. Furnishing for routine care and play and learning. Cubbies for storage, children, personal items, and creative work. All children need their own cubbies. All children need their own cubby space. Okay, no one should be sharing cubbies. No coats should be touching one another. So everyone needs their own space. Children need softness in their space. Okay, pillows, bean bags, carpet, any type of softness that you have, and I hope that you have enough of softness in your classroom. All classroom needs softness. Not just one pillow and one bean bag. Try to have a lot of pillows, carpet, not that children will fall on the carpet, but if you have one big carpet, that's fine. If you have a big carpet, then you have another little one over in the quiet area, that's fine. But just have enough softness. Okay? Room arrangement for play. Quiet centers, active centers do not need to be together. One need to be here on this side of the room and the other one on the other side. Pictures with words to label the shelves. If you have a block center and you have cars, you need a sign that says cars and maybe even a picture. So children will start being responsible to put things back where they belong. Okay? Private spaces must be easy for teachers to see children inside the classroom and outside of the classroom. So when you're inside the classroom, and you know how we have those little spaces for children want to have privacy, but make sure that you can see them at all times. Even on the playground, how you might have a slide up here, but then have like a little go into under the slide. Make sure you can see them under the slide. And make sure you can see them in the classroom. Child-related displays. Art displays should be at eye level. I know that we do artwork, but I'm not sure if we do 3-dimensional artwork that has width, height, and depth into it. That would be good to try to practice doing. Things that have width, depth, and the height in them. Okay? And eye level of the children way up here is not good, but down to the eye level of the child where they can see their work. I said last night in ECERS that if the artwork is high for a baby up here, you might have the baby in your arms and they go over and point to that paper. But children that are preschoolers need work to be at their level. Space for gross motor play, indoor and outdoor. You need a space in case it rains really bad and you cannot go outside. You need a space where you can go for children to play for at least 1 hour. You need to be outside for at least 1 hour. And you need to be inside and have a space at least 1 hour, not 55 minutes. Go ahead and make it an hour, not 20 minutes. Give them that whole hour, and that will take you far. Okay? Gross motor play equipment. Centers need equipment that stimulates a variety of skills. For example, I know you have climbing, throwing, balancing, jumping, pushing, and pulling things. And kicking. You can name some other things that kids do outside. They hop, so they need these type of things outside and inside to give them those skills, to work on those different type of skills, that our preschoolers need. So most of everyone has some jumping things, pushing and pulling, throwing balls, and climbing things. So you might want some, like this little girl's playing the hopscotch, she's hopping, so that's a good skill to work on. So all type of skills outside and inside. Greeting. It is vital. I know right now that the COVID-19 has us to where we have different setups for our centers, to where parents are not even coming into the centers. They're dropping the kids off, signing them in, and then teachers are taking them to the classroom. I understand right now. But once we get over COVID, parents are to bring their children into the classroom. Okay, so I'm not sure what type of setup that you guys have at your centers now for parents coming in, or because of the COVID-19. That's totally different and understandable. But once this is over, parents need to be able to bring their children in the classroom. And this is something we probably never thought about, but I've seen this a lot when I was a QRS, when I was on the team, and I would come out and do observation. Any new staff person that enters the classroom must greet all the children. Now, what I mean by that, I'm not saying that that person has to go around and say, hey, Judy, hey, Mike, hey, Susie, hey, Johnny. Not that. But once they enter the classroom, they need to say, good morning, everyone. Okay? It might be the cook. It might be the director. It might be the janitor. Might be another teacher. Any new staff person that has not been in that room with those children and they come in, they need to greet the children. Okay? Very important. Children should have a pleasant departure. Information about the children needs to be shared with parents. I know you guys probably do that, so continue to do that very well. And sometimes when you're having these observations, it might be a parent might ask about their child while the observation is going on, when they're bringing them in for the day, because the observation is only 3 hours long. So I know in the evening time they might not see it, but in the morning time they will see it. So share that information with parents. Meals and snacks. Staff should sit with children during meals and snack time and have good conversations with them about the food, about the coloring. Let them, respond to you, not about that other stuff that's not even necessary, because I've heard some of that stuff. But I'm talking about meaningful learning and meaningful talking. Because in your book, you have two indicators that talks about, talking to children. Informal use of language and using language to develop reasoning and encouraging children to communicate. That's indicator 16, encouraging children to communicate. So you can talk to children about what they see and the different foods and the coloring, okay? Make that talk meaningful. Make all the talk meaningful. Children should not be forced to take a nap. I know that you say this is my time. I only have 45 minutes to an hour. I need to rest. I need to breathe. But if little Johnny don't want to take a nap, he shouldn't be forced to take a nap. You need an alternative. You might want to give him a book, or you might want to go over and rub his back, or put on some soft music and let him look at the book, and he'll eventually fall asleep. And then again, he might not. But he shouldn't be forced to lay down on that mat. Okay? Cots and mats need to be 18 inches apart. If you don't have a space for that, I understand. Every classroom needs a measuring tape. Don't cost a lot, but every classroom needs a measuring tape so you can measure your 18 feet apart. And if you can't do it 18 feet apart, you might have to have a solid barrier between the bedding. Okay, this is very important. Teachers that wear gloves still need to wash their hands. All children must wash their hands after using the restroom. It's so many things about the hand washing. Children should wash their hands once they arrive at school, in your classroom. And classroom needs a hand-free trash can. If you can get that. If you don't have it, and you'll notice if you don't have one and you have the top on it, after a child has washed their hands, they go over and pick up the germy top to put the paper towel in. So they just recontaminate their hands. So if you can get a trash can that has no lid, that would be great. Even if you can get the one where you put your foot on it and mash it and it comes up, that'd be great. But the hands free, that's even better. Safety practices, outlets need to be covered in your classroom, in the hallway, in the lunchroom, in the bathroom. Anywhere there are plugs, they need to be covered at all times. Okay? Bleach solution not in reach of children. Put in heavy objects out of reach of children. So, when we're spraying the table, children do not need to be sitting while you're spraying the bleach. And you really need to read what it says about the time for letting solutions stay on the table. So it's a lot of things that could help you out in that department, but that bleach and everything needs to be out of reach of children, under the lock and key. Books and pictures. Wide selection of books. For an example, you need books that have abilities, science, race, nature, and fantasy. All those type of good books in your library area. You do not need scary books. No scary books. I know the picture might look good and this story been around for years and years. It is not scary. Children read it all the time, but it's not the right books. And I'm going to show you. Little Red Riding Hood. This book has a silver seal. This book has been in the award show for I don't know how long, evidently, because it has that seal. So let me just read what this book has in it. And a child might just go get it off your shelf. You probably don't even know. But just listen for a minute. Oh, grandmother, your eyes are so shiny. The better to see you with, my dear. Your hands look so strange, grandmother. The better to catch you with and hug you with, my dear. Please, grandmother, why do you have such big sharp teeth? Those are to eat you up with, my dear, as the wolf said. He sprang out of the bed and ate up Little Red Riding Hood. Then, having finished his first good meal in many weeks, that wicked wolf went back to bed and pulled the covers up and started snoring as loudly as you can imagine. I'm skipping around, but it's this book. Right away, the huntsman guessed what had happened. So here you are, you old sinner, the huntsman said. I've been looking for you for all these years, and now this is where I find you. He raised his gun to shoot, but then he wondered if the wicked old wolf might have swallowed grandmother whole, and if perhaps there was a chance that she still might be saved. So he took out his knife and quickly killed the wolf while he lay sleeping. Then he carefully opened the wolf's stomach. After the first cut, he saw the red velvet cloak, and after a few more slices, a little girl jumped out and cried, "Oh, thank you. I was very frightened. It was so dark inside the wolf." Next, the grandmother climbed out alive, but hardly able to breathe from fright and exhaustion. They thanked the huntsman with all of their hearts. He was so glad to see them both alive and well that he hugged Little Red Riding Hood and shook grandmother's hand over and over again. Now, if you were to read me this book, Little Red Riding Hood, in circle time, I would be afraid. Raise your hand if you would be afraid too. No, I would. But these are the type of books that are scary and stuff with monsters and all those type of things. The wording in them make them scary. So this type of book here needs to be in a closet locked up. Check your books. I have some back here. I don't have a lot, but I have some that needs to be out, in your centers. Encouraging children to communicate. Teachers should move around the classroom, questioning children about their play. Teachers should be asking children questions. Using language to develop reasoning skills, such as matching games, classifying things that belong together. If your teachers are not walking around asking children questions, they need to start doing that. So the whole time need to be walking and asking questions, even stopping and sitting down and playing in housekeeping. I did an observation, and the teacher stopped and went to sit down in housekeeping, and it became a hospital. And the little girl was the nurse or the doctor, and she put the blood pressure cup on her arm, on the teacher's arm, and she went through all those steps, asking her questions. And that was a very good, deep communication with the teacher and the child. So teachers can interact with children. They interact in the blocks, in housekeeping, any parts of the center. Not so much as telling them, no, don't do that. Be quiet in that center. We don't do all that. Encourage them to communicate with one another. Okay? Informal use of language. Do not encourage children to talk to each other. Let them talk and talk to one another. Even talk to you. That would be very good. That will help out. It's an indicator, informal use of language. Let them talk to one another. Don't tell them to be quiet all the time. Okay? I can understand using your inside voices, but not just be quiet and don't say anything else. No, that wouldn't be good. Fine motor, small building toys, Lincoln logs, art, crayons, manipulative, nuts and bolts, puzzles with knobs and without knobs. All children need to develop their own creative expression. And what I mean by their own creative expression, I don't know if you can see on my wall, you probably can't, but I have pictures that children in my Sunday school class drew for me. I didn't tell them what to draw, I just asked them to draw me a picture and use their creative minds, and they did. So I'm going to show you some children creative artwork. You can put it out for them, but don't tell them to do it the certain way that you want them to do it. Let them be creative and make up their own creation. That's how it becomes so creative, and so the children being a part of their own drawing, okay? So if teachers are telling children, put the pink in this circle, put the red in this circle, that's telling me what to do. That's not letting me be creative. Just give me the paper and just give it to them. The paper and crayons or whatever you're using, and let them be creative in their own way. You'll be surprised. Okay. Blocks, wooden, plastic, and cardboard. Accessories needed are animals, vehicle, and road signs. I have a green truck, I have the people, but I don't have the blocks in it. I have some things that you might need or you need in your center. So if you already have these, you're doing great. If you don't, you need to get some of what you don't have and put it in those centers, in your block center. There must be enough sand and water to scoop and pour. Not just enough at the bottom till you don't want it all over the floor, but there needs to be enough where children can scoop it and pour it or whatever you're dealing with, water that day or sand, okay? Items that could be used for sand are buckets, funnel, plastic tubes, sand molds, rakes, and shovels. I have some sand things out, but you probably already have this, so don't put it up when it comes to observation. Bring all that stuff out. But my one thing of advice would be don't bring it out the day before, because children will tell on you, and it won't be their fault, it'll be your fault. Bring it out at least a week a week before you get being observed, because they'll tell you, Miss Tanya, I never had a shovel before. This is so neat. Or we never use water. And you're going to be looking at them like, you know, you use water. And you can't get mad at them. You can only get mad at yourself. So if you want to try new things with children before you be observed, bring it out at least 2 weeks ahead of time, so they'll know. You know, children are smart. Dramatic play, props that reflect diversity. You need dolls with different skin tones. You need to practice. Most of your language will come from blocks and dramatic play, and all the other centers too. But these two centers, blocks and dramatic play, they really bring it out. You need some diversity in your food. So if you don't have any play food, that's pizza, rice, different type of food from different cultures would be good to put in your house, your dramatic play. Okay? You need clothing of different diversities. Nature and science book, games, and toys. Living things such as bird feeder by a window, butterfly, hatching kit, or you can have a plant or a fish, a classroom pet, a turtle, however you want to. But you just make sure that you have one or the other, or you can have two. It needs to be organized. You see the shelf in the PowerPoint? So very organized. Once children finish playing, they'll know where to put everything else. Okay? Math need counting objects, measuring things, comparing and recognizing. All this need to be in the math center. Use of TV and computer. TV should not be used. I know that you might have those smart screens. I'm not sure smart TVs in your classroom. I'm not sure what they're called, but some centers have those. Children should have an alternative activity if they do not want to watch TV. They shouldn't be forced to watch TV. Computer, no more than 15 minutes a day. TV, 30 minutes a week. I know that some of you, everything is on computers now because we're in the COVID-19. I understand that. But children shouldn't be forced to watch TV or watch a video. And there's so many other things in that classroom that could take place and they could be exploring. Okay, promoting diversity, dancing to different type of music, speaking in different languages, posters, food, and books. You need those throughout your classroom. Posters of different, as you can see, I have different posters of different people and different families. That would be great to have in your classrooms during your observation. And just during the whole time anyway, because children need to learn about different cultures and different people that don't look like them. Okay? Discipline. Physical punishment looks like hitting, holding a child very tight. Other ways of bad punishment would be yelling at a child, withholding food or drink from a child. So these things we should not be doing at all. We don't even want to take up the habit of doing that. Get in the habit of holding the child tight and squeezing their hand. Because what they're going to say is, ow, you squeezed my hand too tight. You can't deny it because you did it. And they felt it. So please try not to punish our children. Just love on them. Child interaction, positive interaction, no negative interaction. And we all know what negative interaction looks like and how it feels. Okay? So we shouldn't be doing none of that. Schedules need to be flexible to meet the needs of the children. Children choosing what they would like to play with inside the classroom and outside of the classroom. Children should be able to choose what they want. I know some teachers don't want certain children to play with certain things at certain times. If you don't want that, don't have it out. Because if it's out, that means I can play with it. If you don't want me to bang on them drums when school is out for that day, school dismissed, put the drums away. But if drums are out, that means I can bang on them. I can sing or do whatever I need to do as a child. But let children have that choice of choosing what they want to play with. Okay? And not you as the teacher telling them what they need to do and what they need to play with. Children should be able to make a choice or choose what they want. Group time. Children should not be forced to participate in group time. Group time should be short. I'm going to read those two over again. Children should not be forced to participate in group time. Group time should be short. Group time should not be an hour. I've been places where there's been 2 hours. That should not be. All that time where they sitting, they can be exploring in the classroom, making up that substantial portion of the day. Okay? Teachers have to be able to give detailed information of what services a child is receiving. If you have a child with a disability, you need to be able to communicate with the observer what services that child is receiving and when. Okay? If you have a child with disability in your classroom. This sheet is Alabama Quality Stars enhancement program. And what this sheet does, it gives you the number and it tells you about a quality enhancement specialist that will come out to your center and help you get ready for Quality Stars. I don't know if you have them in your part of, where you stay, but here in Tuscaloosa, we have Alabama Quality Stars next door upstairs to Alabama Quality Stars. Enhancement is next door. So centers here that are going for a Quality Star will call this number and ask for assistance. And the enhancement specialist will come out and assist them in getting ready to be observed. So I'm not sure if you have that where you are, but you should. I'm not really sure. And you can give them a call and see if they will come out to your, your center. It wouldn't hurt. And I think you guys can see the number, area code 205-348-1682. So give them a call, because when you get ready, even for the 1-star, all the way up to the 5-star. And they also give kits for free. Whatever you might need to enhance your classroom to bring you up to the level to the star rating you're going for, they'll give it to you. That's here in Tuscaloosa. I'm not sure if you do it where you guys are, but here they do that. It is very helpful to the centers and for the teachers to have someone to help them get ready before Quality Stars even come out. Okay? They assist them with that. So at this time, if you have any questions for me, we're going to, let me see if I can do this, because I don't see it up here, but you can ask me questions. We're going to ask questions in just a second. We're ready for questions. Yeah, so.
Wait, can I unmute everybody? Is it okay?
Yeah, unmute. It's the.
I'll need to ask them to unmute so they can, if they choose to answer or ask a question, they can unmute themselves.
Okay, at this time, if you want to ask me a question, you can unmute yourself because I can't do it.
Or put it in the chat.
Or put it in the chat. If you want to at this time to ask me questions, that'll be fine. I'm ready for questions. I know y'all have one, at least. If not, that'd be great. So no one has questions, right? Okay. What happened to the
Which one flipping over?
clicking on this? Oh. Okay, so you don't have any questions right now, but this is my email address and my phone number. If you have any questions later on you want to email me or call me about, please do, so that I can be available to you to help you to get started on your stars, or even, help you along the way. I can't do much as enhancement will do for you, but I can, try to do the best I can for you. Okay.